All right. All right. All right. All right. You are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And I am Alanna.
I'm Kelsey.
I was going full radio voice. And
Yeah. After you said, all right, all right, all right, I just wanted to go, wow.
Oh no, I love
I
that
don't
one
think I did that
too.
right. Wow. There, that's more Owen Wilson. Wow.
Oh, sometimes I get that one confused with when people make the sound that's the turtles having sex.
Oh, that's
You
like,
know, like no, I thought it was more like just something like so yeah,
yeah.
kind of sad sounding.
I
Obviously, I have
just
to work on my
remember
turtle voiceover.
turtle sex sounds.
Yeah,
Um, sorry guys, our turtle sex sounds are not to par.
which is pathetic because I've been watching nerdy ass voice actors play D&D on YouTube.
I just remember, I don't know if it was you or Carly from work that showed me that video, and it was like a guy like driving, it was like a stick, like a car, like, but it was like
Okay.
stick. So he's like changing gears, and every time he like shifts gears, it just cut to the turtle sex going, ah. And then he's like
It was
driving, and then he's like
Carly because I
shifting
don't
again.
remember
Oh,
that.
it's so great. It just goes, ah, or whatever it does every time he shifts a gear. It's amazing.
Oh my god. Not that I don't look up ridiculous things sometimes when I'm
Yeah.
at work.
You need a laugh
We
to
all
get through the day.
do. Yeah, and this week it's been hard not to, like, I'll watch stuff on my phone, but then it drains your phone battery. So then I
Yeah.
had on some of the for context of when we recorded this, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, like, on in the background of one of my screens at work. Terrible, terrible,
Mm.
terrible.
I keep
Yeah,
seeing updates online and I'm like, I'm sort of interested, sort of not. I'm gonna wait and see because I don't
yeah.
know. I am not qualified or know enough about their like living situation to, I feel like, make really a comment
Well,
about it.
that's that's exactly what you can get from watching 8 hours of them
Yeah.
talk about it. I remember because Pat had been kind of more following it, I would say, before,
Hmm.
like earlier this year and stuff, and I was just like, I feel like I have too much going on. I can't handle anybody
Yeah.
else's like problems or even think about it too much. And I don't know, I'm kind of flipped and I'm more like, oh, now I'm invested and I justice
Yeah.
for Johnny, hashtag. Okay. I'm done.
I
Yeah,
go
that's
back and forth. I definitely
oh,
do. It's,
there's
I don't know.
certain audios that are just really damning and, kind of telling of certain people's characters that make me go, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
this is how you guys act behind closed doors. But anyway, it's none of our business. But
No.
it's what sucks though is it is crimey and court related, because if people
Mm-hmm.
lie about being abused, that's a very serious fucking
Yes.
allegation. So I mean, it is very
Yeah.
topical, I think. But
Yeah. And I mean, whether or not like Johnny Depp was abused, men can be abused, and it is shedding
that's exactly true.
at least making that a thing that people are more willing to talk about, which is good.
Yeah,
Hopefully, no matter what the outcome of the trial is or
we have to
whatever.
toe the line and not try and be
Yeah.
too controversial. We don't want to
But
alienate people, but I like to, yeah.
I feel like men maybe go more for like physical abuse and women go really hard for like psychological abuse. And I feel like
Can
people
be.
don't really realize until maybe
Yeah.
they're like talking with, even like if a guy's talking to like a girl or whatever and like says something and you're like, dude, like that's not okay for your girlfriend to do that, like that
Right.
kind of shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard, and some people don't realize even what kind of situation they're in. So
No, that's very
yeah.
true. It's almost like people like emotional abuse can be hard to recognize for sure. I think for
Yeah.
people more than physical. And then yeah, it's also a to fight against that stereotype, because people will be like, oh no, girls can't abuse, she just goes a little crazy. You'll see that some people say that sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
no man, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have topical things to talk about. We have
Yeah.
things in the news other than that was unplanned.
No.
As most of my
Um,
asides.
well, when we record this, the news basically just broke, I think yesterday, maybe the day before. So I do have an
Very
update on a
recent.
case we talked about recently, in
Yeah.
the spring break crimes back in April. I talked about the disappearance of Brittany Drexel. So anybody that's following anything or may not have heard, her body has actually been found. So if you didn't
Yeah.
listen to our episode about it, she was a 17-year-old girl. She went missing while on spring break with a couple of her friends back in 2009.
Yeah.
She basically just disappeared. Nobody knew what happened. There was a whole bunch of basically like theories about her two friends that she was traveling with being involved and setting her up to be sold as a sex worker, that they intentionally like took her with them so they could make her disappear. And then there was things about a guy they knew from their town who was a club promoter that had also like basically orchestrated this elaborate plot to have her kidnapped to be sold into sex work. And then there was also a guy that was in prison, I think a few years later, in an unrelated charge that basically just randomly said that he had seen her and she had been kidnapped and held hostage and like raped
I remember
very
that one.
violently by like 15 people in a house for like a month. And that he witnessed her getting shot and dragged out of the house, and that he helped dispose of her body or some weird stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, so for basically the last like 13 years, nobody really knew. But they have discovered her body. The police have a gentleman in custody. I'm just looking at an article here. They were right about the area they believe she disappeared in because of her cell phone records. So it was in Georgetown, South Carolina. The
Okay.
gentleman currently is 62-year-old Raymond Douglas Moody. He has been charged with murder, obstructing justice, kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct in the first degree. And that's per like his arrest warrants. Authorities said that Moody kidnapped and strangled Brittany Drexel the same day she disappeared. They didn't release details about where they found her body, just that her remains were discovered a week ago. So by the time this
Oh,
airs, it'll be
okay.
2 weeks ago. So it is very recent. Yeah, obviously
Yeah.
it's nice for the family to have closure, and it's obviously a little bittersweet because there's always the hope that you're going to find them alive. Um, but
Yeah. But I mean, they probably knew in their hearts at this point that it was more
yeah,
likely that they wouldn't. But yeah, that surprises me, that because some of those things and theories were somewhat
yeah,
plausible. Sorry, especially the prisoner. I thought that seemed like, I mean, yeah, people could get kidnapped and violently
mm-hmm,
assaulted and then she, you know, disposed of. Like, so I thought
yeah,
that one could have definitely happened, but it sounds like that was not the case.
yeah. So obviously, like from our point of view, and like previously on the episode, we didn't have this information, obviously, when I covered the case. So the theories we talked about there, it was like allegedly kind of things. So it is nice to know
Yeah.
that like her family, or I guess not her family, but her friends and people she knew weren't involved in any of these plots as far as the police have released, and that it was
Yeah.
this unknown, unfortunately random gentleman. So it is really nice to know that she wasn't targeted by her friends, and it wasn't
Yeah.
really some big conspiracy thing. And I do feel bad for the two girls she was with and that club promoter, even though he is kind of sleazy.
Yeah.
As
One of the
well as
girls was
that,
named Alanna.
yeah,
I
I
feel
think
for
I
her.
kept saying bad Alanna or something.
Oh,
Um,
no.
as well as obviously from the one prison guy that was confessing, and then the other guy, I think, that was on charges or whatever, he was obviously being wrongly accused of this, along with
Right.
his dad. Um, yeah, so it's nice, hopefully, when everything gets resolved by the police, that these people weren't, um, even though they were falsely confused or uh,
Accused.
accused, they weren't like falsely convicted of anything, which is good. Yeah, and just with the guy that kidnapped her, it seems like he has a history of being like a pedophile.
Oh,
Um
really?
yeah, so based on this, as well as um them like naming basically the suspect, I don't know if they've charged him yet in like Madeline McCann's disappearance and stuff. He is
Oh.
also was a known pedophile that was living in the area. um I don't
Okay, but
know, I
different
feel,
pedophile? Different?
yeah, totally
Okay.
different.
Okay.
I feel like, I don't know, this is my opinion, I feel like it's not going to be controversial, but police need to like take pedophiles a lot more serious and not let them in and out of prison all the time, because this is two cases that happened, I like within the last 15 years, where the person got away with it for almost 15 years, and they both ended up being pedophiles, and they were both huge like media storm of cases. And
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks. I
I,
feel
I I
like,
tend to agree. I think I think a lot of things could be punished more harshly, and a lot of lesser things could be
yeah,
punished less harshly, like
yeah.
marijuana in the States and other places
And
still.
people doing like minor theft things, like, oh my God, like they aren't out there murdering and killing people or like
Yeah, it's
molesting
Aladdin
children.
stealing a loaf of bread.
Yeah, like, uh, yeah,
That's
but
crazy. It's so cool to hear an update. I have a different news bullet, like something from the news, something or something I learned on the internet
oh,
last week
fun.
or whatever. But this one's kind of creepy in a different. It's not crimey. Well, it's kind of crimey. You tell me.
Okay, I'll be the judge.
Um, yeah, I found this article and the title was something like "Flight Aborted After Eerie Pictures Mysteriously Sent to Passengers," and it showed definitely plane crash in the picture for the article, and I was like, what the fuck? So
Okay.
yeah, this plane was going from Israel to Turkey, and I guess the pictures were sent via that thing you can do called like
Airdrop.
airdrop. Yeah. I was like, all I know is it's a way I think you can send to people without having their phone number or any, you know, of their
Yeah, you
information
can
or
send to
whatever.
random people.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
it's weird. I don't like it really.
No, I don't think
Freaks
my
me
phone
out.
has it, so I've never used it. I don't really get
Okay.
it, but yeah, it seems very
Oh,
creepy and I don't like it.
I wonder if you have to have it enabled. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, they were like sending pictures of an actual plane crash or different plane crashes to a bunch of the
Oh,
passengers on board. So yeah, they freaked the fuck out. Yeah. The pilot had to like turn around and everything and come back.
wow.
And it was interesting too because like this flight was headed to Turkey and they showed pictures from the 2009 Turkish airline plane crash, and they sent it to 166 people on board actually got it, so it got like a whole shit
Wow.
ton. So like no
Yeah.
wonder they were like,
Yeah.
well, maybe it's better that we just, but like, is that a prank? Like that's pretty fucked up.
So they don't say anymore. They don't say why and who was doing it.
No, and I haven't looked since to find any follow-up articles.
Jeez.
I've been too swamped with crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to put my post-it of that aside. I literally have a little post-it, so
we'll do a follow-up. Dun dun dun. Yeah. Oh.
Sorry guys, I'm trying. I'm very disorganized and it just broke. I bought a car. Things have been going fine, but also Mercury's in retrograde. Our team really lost last night.
No.
We got swamped by Calgary.
Aw, that's shitty.
It's fine. The Oilers are gonna hopefully win the next one. Okay. Now we have to stop this because our Zoom is being stupid and telling us we have to upgrade, even though we've never had the Zoom Pro, and now it wants us to pay more money.
So we'll be right back on Clean Feed. And just like basically we had to do last week, the same thing. I tried to edit the episode. I had to adjust the volumes a little bit. But you could still tell it sounded better from Clean Feed anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about it. I do Zoom because I don't know. I hate being on the phone. I'd much rather video calls make me feel more like a person. I can see Gordo run past.
It hits me and then it's just a whole screen of fur and me going, shit.
Yeah. He jumps on the laptop and then I go edit it and I'm like, what the fuck happened to the volume?
Because there's nothing this side for him to jump on. This side he has like things, so he just hops up, but for some reason when he jumps this way he has to jump. He doesn't even land on me. He lands and jumps directly onto my laptop and then goes from my laptop to the desk behind it. And I'm just like, why?
Oh, sorry. I saw a video earlier that was like, pussies fuck you up or something. But this guy was doing sit-ups and his cat's walking on the shelf kind of behind him. And then he like is walking behind this big TV, this flat screen TV sitting on the thing. And then the cat knocks the TV right into the guy's face. I was like, no, my gosh.
That's what I'm worried about because Gordo is obsessed with going behind my flat screen TV. And it's not super stable. Like I can wobble it when I walk past it. I can hear it raw. Yeah.
Anyway.
Be right back. Okay, after no messages. All right, now we're good.
Okay. Hi, it's us. It's episode 57. It's Chinese true crime.
Yes.
We think that's what we're calling it, but we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? It might change.
Sometimes I like to be punny, but if I never think of anything, like we didn't for Japanese true crime, and that episode did just fine.
Yeah, it's our best episode, so here's to manifesting our second best? I don't know.
Yeah. Because that one I was looking at when it came out, which was the November 18th, because I was like, oh yeah, that was the one I kind of dedicated to my brother Daniel and his love of gangs. No.
Yeah,
organized crime, like more like the Untouchables and stuff like that. But yeah. So I'll have to ask him if he like told 17,000 of his friends about it, but if not, I just don't know. But it's a good episode. And actually, there's a little good segue to what we're talking about on Patreon next with that, because I talked about some weird prison experiments in that Japan episode. And I'm going to be probably talking about something very much the same in our next Patreon.
Okay. I have... well, it's not really a conspiracy theory, but it is a government cover-up that was exposed. And
that's the theme.
Yeah, it makes me chuckle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
It's kind of fun. So
I love a fun conspiracy. Mine's going to be more of a make you mad kind of,
Oh shit. Well.
Anyway. But yes, you guys can check that out. You know where to find us. Join the Illuminati.
Yeah.
So, do you have a fun story today?
No, mine's real shitty.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would say mine's pretty dark too.
Ooh, this is gonna be a dark, dark episode.
Could be.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, heads or tails? Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Get my darkness, sadness out of the way.
Yeah, and then I will definitely probably not lift us up.
You'll just hold it steady and then we'll close the episode. Just be like, okay, bye.
It's a complete nosedive.
Yeah.
The whole time. Oh my god.
So for mine, I do have pictures
Buckle up.
in the drive. I forgot the word for
You're
a
so
second.
organized with your pictures.
Just a few. Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. I gotta go to my drive.
So, mine today, I had told you, like, the kind of catchy nickname my case had. I know it's been covered a number of times by different podcasts. I didn't listen to how any of them covered it, because I don't normally really like to. And with this one, there is...
When you're gonna cover it, you mean? You don't like to listen to them? Yeah.
So this one, there is, like, a few different, like, minor conflicting stories. The overall story is basically the same. It's just some of the smaller details, I guess. So I do have kind of information about both of them. In the end, it doesn't really impact the overall case.
Okay. Gotcha.
So this one has a cute little title called the Hello Kitty Murder. Because who doesn't love Hello Kitty?
I mean, kind of me, but...
Yeah, I was never a Hello Kitty person, but it is huge in, like, China and Japan.
Oh, exactly. And it's so pink and...
Yeah.
You know, super soft, as they would say on Letterkenny.
Yeah, super soft birthday.
Yeah, everything's pink and squishy and happy, and your drinks are very frou-frou with an umbrella.
Yeah, this is gonna be very the opposite. 'Cause it's murder. But we'll get to it. I'm not gonna spoil.
Yeah, well, some of these words on these files are disgusting and spoily. Oh no, I can't wait. Okay. I'm sure
we'll get to why it's called the Hello Kitty Murder. I won't spoil that for anybody that doesn't know, so just enjoy. Buckle up. So, 23-year-old Fan Man-Yee, she is the central figure, she's the victim. She grew up, she had a tough childhood. This takes place in, like, the late 90s, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. She was raised in an all-girls home after she was abandoned by her biological family. At 16, she was forced to leave that, like, orphanage or girls' home due to the age restriction. Which... Oh. Terrible, yeah.
They just, like, kick you out?
Yeah, at 16, I guess. Okay. And Fan...
you gotta go to, like, a youth home or something, maybe.
Yeah. Fan, like, had nowhere else to go, so she began living on the streets. And during this time, she unfortunately developed drug addiction and also began working as a sex worker to support her drug addiction, as well as, I assume, like, get food.
Yeah, support herself, like yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have, like, a lot about her background, so that's disappointing. But at 21 years old, Fan began working, instead of like on the street as a sex worker, she ended up being able to work as a sex worker at a brothel. And
Okay.
so I hope that offered maybe a little bit more protection for her.
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
Yeah.
because then you got like at least some sort of a support group.
Yeah. And while she was at this brothel, according to like one instance of this story, it said that she had a regular client who said that she was his favorite and he was always asking for her when he went to the brothel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
you can request.
yeah. So his name was Chan Manlock and he was 34. So, while he was with her at the brothel one day, Fan ended up stealing his wallet, which contained roughly 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, because this is all taking place in Hong Kong,
Holy shit!
which I believe at the time was about $500 US.
Wow, that's
So,
a
not,
lot.
yeah, not like unsubstantial amount of money.
No, that's like what 800,
Yeah.
750 Canadian. I don't know.
Yeah, about that. When he realized this money was gone, he like reached out to her and demanded that she return it, which she was able to do. But Chan wasn't satisfied with this and asked her to pay him back an interest fee of 10,000 in Hong Kong dollars, so more than double what she had stolen. He asked for an interest.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah,
I
it gets
can't believe she brought it back.
yeah.
And or like I guess he knows where she works.
Yeah.
But like, this is not. This is taking a hard left turn.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the information I ran across says that she was able to pay this $10,000, and then later on he then contacted her a separate time and asked her to pay a separate 16,000 Hong Kong dollars in interest, which that was what she was unable to pay. Other sources say that she was unable to pay this $10,000 interest and didn't say anything about this other $16,000. Either way, he asked for a ridiculous amount of interest at some point, and she wasn't able to pay it, so she said that she would need time to pay it, and they had kind of come to that conclusion.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Also, serious Squid Game vibes right now.
Right? Yeah.
Like so desperate for money that they know they have you literally over a not literally, but over a barrel.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's 1999, and Fan is 23 years old. So this is a couple years after she. Some sources say like this is the year she robbed Chan. Others things say that she robbed him in 1997, so 2 years later. At some point during this time, sources conflict, but she had apparently met a man that I couldn't find the name of. She had gotten married and they had actually had a son together. And that she was now working as a nightclub hostess. So she wasn't in the brothel working as a sex worker anymore.
aw, good
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
I'm
According to
scared.
some sources. Other sources say she was working as a sex worker out of, like, through the nightclub, and other things say that this is how she met Chan, that he was a customer at the nightclub, and that's when she robbed him. Or that he met her while she was working as this hostess, and because he was a drug dealer and a pimp, that when she stole his, that's when she stole his wallet, not the 2 years earlier. The timeline's very confusing with this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not surprised when you're like doing that kind of work that they're like, I don't know. I was gonna say that it's not all maybe all jumbled up. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's not like a normal 9 to 5 necessarily.
Yeah.
You know. You're not clocking in on a time card. And,
No.
I don't know, all that stuff.
So, the gentleman she stole from Chan Man-Lok, along with being a drug dealer and a pimp, unfortunately, he was also a member of the Chinese mafia called the Triad. Because why not? So she pissed off the wrong
Gangsters.
person. Yeah. So,
Uh-oh. This
are
is
you
getting
ready? This is
rapidly
gonna be
worse.
shit. This is gonna be real bad because she messed with the mafia.
She He
Yeah.
was okay. Wait, I'm so. How was she to know? I feel so bad.
Well, so some things say that she knew he was part of the mafia and that um she had met him working as the hostess at this nightclub and that him and like a bunch of other triad like members frequented there all the time and that she was basically like hung out with them and used to like hang out with them outside of her work. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's so weird, the setup to this case. There's no consistency in any of it.
I can see how. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
stuff probably had to be translated too for our
True.
articles, and holy shit, this is
Yeah.
just all kinds of like bad ingredients, though.
Mm-hmm. So on March 17th, 1999, Fan was kidnapped by Chan and two of the other like triad members and his friends, and she was
God.
taken back to his apartment that I did. It's basically the only thing I looked up the pronunciation of. I believe it's Jim Sa-jo.
Okay.
That should be like the Cantonese pronunciation. And this was in Hong Kong. And so if you go, you can flip through the like few pictures. There's actually, I think it's picture 4.5. It shows the outside of like this building because it's kind of weird. The building was 4 stories high with 2 units on each floor. They were like A and B on each floor. And the first 2 floors were actually like retail shops. And then the upper 2 floors were residential apartments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
So-
at first it was like a duplex or something. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
what it kind of looked like. Yeah.
So Fan, when she was kidnapped, she was taken to Chan's apartment, which was Unit B on the 3rd floor, so right above the shops. And so Chan was joined, as I said, by 2 other triad members in the abduction, and they also happened to be his roommates at the apartment. So,
Well, isn't that convenient?
yeah, so cute. 3 triad members in an apartment. Like,
So they can get rid of bodies together,
yeah, cool.
like bros do.
yeah.
No.
Oh, it gets
We
weird.
love our male listeners.
Yeah,
I'm not man hating.
I don't understand the decor in their apartments. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
So
She uses the term decor loosely.
yeah. I feel like it had something to do with the triads had going on, but it's not like, I guess explained, so I don't really understand it. But I'll get to it in a little bit. So, so the other 2 triad members I mentioned. So Chan is 34. There's 27-year-old Lang Xing-cho and 21-year-old Lang Wei-lan.
Okay.
And unfortunately, along with these other 2 triad members, there was also involved in this. They described her as a underage grooming victim, but she's basically the underage, some sources say girlfriend, but she is underage. And this was like Chan. So she's 14 years old, and court records named her Ah Fong. So I'll be calling her Fong. That's not her real name because she was underage at the time. So they've protected her identity.
Okay. Why
Yeah, so she's
would a girl be involved? I am just pissed off at her and them.
Well, Chan's basically in this situation a pedophile, and he is. Some sources say this girl was like also a sex worker and had been like forced basically to be his girlfriend. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. She's
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Uh,
She does
Not
kind
good.
of redeem herself after she does a whole lot of shady stuff. So you can feel meh about her. So, Chan Man-Lok intended to force Fan to actually work directly under him as a sex worker so that this way she could directly work off the debt that apparently, even though she already repaid him, he felt he owed or she owed him.
Right. That
Yeah.
he just made up.
Right? For either the first or the second time, uh, depending what you think.
It's just
So,
extortion.
yeah, it said that plans soon changed. Some sources say that the three basically just like raped her repeatedly, and because they were raping her so much that she couldn't, and like just beating her so much that she couldn't work as a sex worker for them. So then they like changed their plans. Other things basically just say that that was never really their plan. So her captors are holding her in this filthy apartment. Just there's pictures of it after they abandoned it, which I feel like are the only pictures we have. But it is described as being filled with Hello Kitty merchandise. So I don't know why three gang members would want to live in an apartment filled with Hello Kitty sheets, curtains, kitchenware. There was like towels, there's dolls, there's toys. Literally everything you can imagine that's Hello Kitty was apparently in this apartment, and they were living in it.
I'm so
As
uncomfortable.
right?
Why? Then they're not reselling it if they're like using it.
Yeah, that's the confusing part is all the articles say, yeah, it was filled with Hello Kitty stuff, but it's like, okay, was it part of like a gang thing? Are they like funneling this somewhere? Is it knockoffs? Is it like what's going on?
Hoarders.
Yeah, are
Someone's a
they
real
obsessed
collector.
with Hello Kitty? Like, fuck, I want to know. So she's being held in this terrible apartment with, as I described, decor that's apparently only Hello Kitty stuff. And she's being held as a
Weird.
prisoner, and they basically torture her in terrible, terrible ways.
Yeah, they're already
Yeah.
just beating her and
Yeah. So during this time, Fan's husband had reported her missing to the police. There aren't really any details about what was going on for any sort of search during this time that I could find or
sorry.
that were talked about anywhere.
Okay. But at least
What
like
we
yeah, he's reported her.
Yeah, at some point. I don't know how long into her being missing. He waited to report her. But so the details of what happened to Fan we know because of 14-year-old Ah Fong. So everything I talk about after is basically what she says happened and what the police were able to corroborate later.
Okay.
So she did testify in court. That's why they protected her identity. She testified against the three members of the triad, which would be pretty brave of her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was
So,
just thinking. Yeah. Good for her. That's I feel bad
yeah.
for having insinuated that she was, you know, the mastermind in this.
I mean, at 14 years, she says some stuff. Let's say she has a couple comments where you're like, eh,
Maybe there's
not good.
maybe some culpability, maybe.
A
Yeah,
little.
it's no black and white for sure.
Yeah, at 14 years old, I'm pretty sure you knew torturing people was wrong. So,
I mean, I was not doing great things, but I was mostly only endangering myself.
yeah. So,
And yeah.
according to Fong, Fan, while she was in the captivity, she was beaten with a variety of different objects that included metal bars, kitchen utensils, and pieces of furniture. She,
Yeah.
yeah,
No. This is
Uh,
just fucked up.
oh, it's gonna get worse. That's nothing. This is probably one of the worst ones I've covered in a while.
There's some that are just so, like, messed up that they're hard to talk about.
Yeah, I feel like this one was borderline. I probably wouldn't want to talk about something on our podcast that's worse than this one.
I've definitely heard podcasters say the same thing where there was ones that they were people wanted them to cover and they're like they're rough, whether they involve usually like children and things
Yeah.
like that, and just horrific
Mm-hmm.
shit that just, yeah, you hear it once and you're kind of like, oh my god, I wish I could scrub my brain out.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it sucks because their stories don't deserve to be any less told.
Yeah, that's very true.
We're doing the hard
So,
stuff, you guys. No,
yeah.
we think we're not some like act like we're doing all the, work on this stuff. But
Um,
I'm glad you're telling it.
yes.
Yes, you're doing it.
So, according to Fong, Fan was also hung up. I don't know how. And they basically used her
Oh.
as a punching bag.
Oh my god, how is she like even still alive?
Yeah. At some point, all of her fingers were broken.
Oh no.
And Fong says that at least on one occasion, Fan had been kicked in the head at least 50 times. And according to her statement, she said that they basically had asked her to join in. And there's conflicting things about whether she said that she slapped Fan in the face or if she kicked her.
I mean, they're just doing this for some sort of sick enjoyment.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't want anything
No.
from her.
Like, fine, if your plan was to have her pay off her debt, like, you could have done that. It's shitty, but you could have done that, and you chose not to.
Yeah,
So,
this sounds like a scene from a movie where someone's getting like tortured for information or something. Like,
yeah,
you're like, what the fuck is this?
basically.
People are capable of some shit.
Yeah. So, according to Fong, they rubbed, according to like all of, or I guess, according to Fong, all of Fan's wounds after she had them when they were like open or like bleeding or anything, they would rub like kitchen spices into the wounds to cause her more pain. Which, yeah. They also melted candle wax and burned like and melted hot plastic onto her legs and feet so that she wouldn't be able to walk.
I can't believe no one's like heard her screaming or anything.
Right?
Oh, she must have been
Yeah.
there for days.
Oh, she's there for too long to want to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fan was, as we kind of mentioned before, she was raped repeatedly. In probably the worst thing I can imagine them doing. They actually forced her to consume human feces and drink their urine. Because they're
Why?
just shit people.
Well,
So gross.
yeah, this is reminding me of the darkness of the research I've been doing for experiments, like literal human experiments.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I don't know what they're like. They're not even pretending they're doing it in the name of science.
Right? They're just
just
fucking crazy.
evil.
I don't know. Yeah. So Fan was often bound with electrical wire, and during her torture, they most of the time forced her to smile and tell them that she was enjoying the beatings, and
No.
if she refused to say this, they would subject her to even worse like torture as a punishment. That's terrible. And the really horrific part is Fan eventually did die as a direct result of her injuries after over a month of captivity and constant torture. So she was in the apartment for over a month.
Ugh, I don't know. I don't have any words.
I know, this one's brutal. Some sources say that she died overnight, while the others were like asleep. And other sources say that she died while they were out of the apartment, and that they later returned and discovered her body inside of the bathroom that they, I guess, locked her in when they left the apartment.
Ugh. Well, yeah, they had to have kept her somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like injured as you know she would have
Yeah.
been, there would be no hope of making it out for escape. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
That's so horrible to think about.
So Chan and his accomplices, in just like the weirdest shit ever, decided the best thing to do since she had died would be to dismember her body in the bathtub using, some sources say a handsaw, others say a chainsaw. I feel like it was probably a handsaw. And
Okay.
they spent the next few days in just like the weirdest thing, boiling like her dismembered body parts on the stove in water. And they said that they did this in and like cooked her body parts to prevent the body from decomposing and releasing any sort of smell of like decomposing flesh. So maybe that's like a thing that they know because they're triad members and this is what they do. They just like fucking cook people on the stove. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't seem like their neighbors are fucking paying much attention, to
Right?
be honest.
Yeah. And
God.
according to Fong, who testified in trial, it's according to her, they cooked like Fan's remains in pots of boiling water next to the food that they were cooking on the stove for meals. And according to her, grossly, on at least one occasion, they used the same stirring utensil in both pots. That's gross. Yeah. Ew. Ew, 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 ew.
It's cannibal adjacent.
Yeah, but they don't eat her. They literally just do this to stop her body from releasing, like, any smells. It's so weird. I've never heard of somebody boiling a body to do that before. And after her...
God, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. Alright, so are you ready to find out why this is... Well, if there wasn't enough Hello Kitty before, are you ready to find out why it's called the Hello Kitty murder?
Yes, as long as we can be done with it after.
Yeah.
We will never speak of it again.
We shall never speak of it again.
Oh,
After-
that's so bad.
So after her remains were all boiled, they took her skull that they had boiled and they sewed it inside of a large Hello Kitty mermaid doll. 'Cause what the fuck? And discarded the rest of her remains with their household garbage. 'Cause why not? Yeah, just so weird. There's pictures of the
I
doll.
hope she haunts the fuck out of them. Of that disrespect of
Oh my god, that's my next
her
sentence.
body. Yeah. I'm mad right now.
Yeah, this
I
was a
don't know what to
maddening
do
one.
about it. I'm just doodling angrily on the page.
Yeah. There are pictures of the Hello Kitty doll in question. Mostly because I wanted...
It's gonna be her whole body in there.
No, it's just her skull.
Ugh, like,
Yeah.
the fuck? Your trophy?
Right? It's weird.
Yeah.
So...
Although that does make me think I have heard of people, like, or like, the method of boiling flesh off of bones if you're just trying to preserve some sort of bones.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Just weird.
what the fuck? They wanted to keep it? They're very Dahmer, like, with the skull keeping.
It's weird, Because when I told you they abandoned the apartment, and that's why like the only pictures we have of like this dirty nasty apartment is like after it was abandoned, they left the remains that they didn't dispose of her body like in the apartment. Like the doll was in the apartment. They found her other remains in the apartment after they had moved out. What did they think was gonna, like, nobody was gonna magically discover you left shit in the fridge? Like, so
They
weird.
really think they're untouchable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So weird.
Fuck. I'm so glad they got caught.
Right? And it really is all because of 14-year-old Ah Fong. At this point, like after all of this happened, so this is about a month after, in May of 1999. And it's funny that you said you hoped that they haunted the fuck out of, or she haunted the fuck out of them. She actually went to the police and basically confessed everything that happened because she thought Fan's spirit was haunting her. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
And
man. Probably
yeah,
was.
she was
Or at least her
scared.
guilt.
Yeah, she was scared. She revealed to police what happened in the apartment with the three men, and that had now like all moved out of the apartment at this time. And stupidly, the police didn't believe her at first, but she
Oh
did end
no.
up leading them to the apartment. I guess because of probably the missing persons thing from her husband. And this is when they located the Hello Kitty doll, and she told them like to cut it open and you'll find like her skull inside. And they found other remains that had been left behind, including one of Fan's tooth, or like one of Fan's teeth, one of Fan's tooth. And there was also some internal organs that were found in a plastic bag that was thrown out on top of the canopy of one of the shops below the apartment. Like,
What the
yeah,
actual
like it makes no
fuck?
sense. And some sources also say that police found Fan's remains inside of the fridge. Just weird stuff.
Yeah, it's like you're keeping it, you're not keeping it.
Yeah,
You're putting it into a very creepy doll, which why did they make a doll? I'm looking at it now
isn't
and I
it
don't
weird?
understand why it has to be a mermaid and a kitty.
Yeah, it's a Hello Kitty mermaid doll. It's fucked up.
It's not the kind of cryptid I need. It's cursed.
No, right?
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah. So obviously, all three men are arrested. They had a 7-week trial, and basically, all the men pointed the finger at each other, and all attempted to downplay their roles in Fan's death,
I
which, I
can't
mean,
believe they didn't
typical.
run and hide better. They're just dumb.
Yeah, they're part of a gang, it's gonna protect them. I don't know.
Well, it's long enough for them to torture her for a month, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty terrible that like nobody was able to intervene.
Yeah, I find that's why I'm like, I wish I could find more information after the husband issued like her missing persons, because there's nothing talked about in anything that I found that said anything about them trying to search for her, like,
Yeah.
which is kind of
It,
sad.
it would seem like you would know exactly who had been like targeting her. Talk to
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah, or her husband might have known something. Yeah.
Crazy.
So during the trial, they did actually, all three men plead guilty to preventing Fan from receiving a lawful burial,
Oh,
which I had
yeah.
never heard of before.
I like it.
Yeah, and
It's like
this
an
is
extra.
actually a criminal charge in Hong Kong, so that's what they charged them with. And along with obviously false imprisonment. So Chan and Wei Lun both pleaded guilty to false imprisonment, and Xing Cho like denied the false imprisonment charges. But all three men were later convicted of manslaughter, as the jury was able to determine that Fan's remains were not sufficient in their ability to show that she had been murdered and that was the cause of death.
What the fuck, really?
Yeah. The defense team with the three men was arguing that she had died in their apartment as the result of a drug overdose and that they had done these things to her body like after that. Like, and that they didn't kill her. They just disposed of her body in this really weird way. Because why not?
So, it was an accident.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
So,
fuck.
Well, Fan had been... Yeah.
F-bombs. That's
yeah.
all I can say.
So, it is noted that Fan had been a user of methamphetamines prior to becoming pregnant with her son, and her husband testified that she had stopped using drugs years earlier, right when she had found out that she was pregnant. But they argued this, like, past history of drug abuse meant that it was more plausible she could have died. It was a drug overdose. And, yeah, the trial's kind of weird. The jury could not determine that the man intended for Fan to die, but they did determine that she did die as a result of their abuse and torture. I mean, I tortured her, but I didn't intend for her to die from the torture for a month. Like, that makes
I hate everything about that.
Yeah. The men, because of this, ended up avoiding mandatory life sentences because they couldn't prove that they intended for her to die. And instead, they were all sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole after 20 years. Which, according to my figuring out, everything said that they would be up for a chance of parole at 2020. So 2 years ago. So I did look up and I tried to find any updates and I could find absolutely nothing. No. So hopefully they aren't paroled. But they are eligible for parole. And...
okay.
Right?
I kind of hope they're dead, but that's just me.
Yeah, I couldn't find any updates, even about anything about them being in prison.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. 14-year-old Ah Fong was granted immunity in exchange for her testifying at the trial against the three members of the triad, and she was questioned about her motives. And this is where I say she's kind of meh. She's quoted as saying, quote, "I had a feeling it was just for fun." Which,
yeah.
Cool. So much fun to torture somebody to death.
Because I'm sure she was probably not locked in the house. It's too bad she couldn't have tried to tell somebody. I don't know. Maybe she did.
Yeah. You don't know what kind of things. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Speculate wildly.
Yeah. So, just finishing up, I only have a little bit more. Justice Peter Nguyen, who sentenced the trio to life in prison with the possibility of parole, said, quote, "Never in Hong Kong in recent years has a court heard of such cruelty, depravity, callousness, brutality, violence, and viciousness." That's like...
Definitely. Fucking vicious.
Psychiatric reports describe the three members of the triad as remorseless. And as I said, there was going to be no review of any chance of parole for the first 20 years, and that came up in 2020. I didn't have a chance to look at it more, but in contrast to mainland China, where those found guilty of murder, as well as the lesser charges such as corruption, are actually executed, which I didn't know of before. Yeah, so they even execute people charged with corruption. So if they were on the mainland like China, they would have been executed for their charges. Because they were in Hong Kong, they don't have the death penalty there.
Okay.
And in the apartment where Fan Man-Yee was held and tortured, this whole building was demolished in September of 2012. And in 2016, a hotel was actually built in its place. And the case did have huge publicity in 1999. and did result in 2 films being released in 2001. And this is actually how I heard about this case back when feels like forever ago, when I covered the Texarkana,
Oh, yeah.
Arkansas one. I think it was
That
Arkansas,
is a while
Texarkana,
ago.
where it was the horror movies based on true crime cases. I actually ran across this because of these 2 movies, and I almost covered this case, but I chose not to because I found the Texarkana one. And
Nice.
so the 2 movies that were released, I feel bad because it was just a couple years after her death, were the movie The Human Pork Chop. Don't know why it's called that. And
I don't know. It's definitely a grabber. That's a name. Grab your
yeah.
attention.
And then the one I heard about that I guess I had this case listed in my notes, like about future episode topics, because the one movie was called There Is a Secret in My Soup. And I didn't really
No.
understand why, and then they're like, it's the Hello Kitty murder, there's a secret in my soup, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, super
What?
confusing, we'll save that for a later date.
I don't
But there was,
understand that title.
yeah. I think it's talking about the fact that, like, they were making dinner on the stove that they boiled her on. I don't know. There was
Oh.
also a Bones episode. I didn't watch Bones at all. Titled The Girl in the Mask. That was apparently also referenced this case. But
Hmm.
I did look up the synopsis of each of the movies. So for the Human Pork Chop, it just says a group of men brutally torture and murder a prostitute in their synopsis who was caught stealing from them. And then there's a secret in my soup says 3 triad gangsters kidnap and brutally torture a woman for a month until she died. Then they dismember and cook the body, hide the skull inside the head of a giant-sized Hello Kitty doll. So that one sounds more
God.
accurate. Yeah, why they
Those.
freaking decided to make these terrible movies, we will never know. But
Yeah, with the campiest, like,
yeah.
cheesiest names.
Yeah, so gross. I don't know. I don't like
Yeah.
that they made
That's
these movies
cringy.
out of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, feel bad. But yeah, that's the case of the Hello Kitty murder. And it's cute name and terrible information, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Catchy name.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible crime. That's always the way. We're like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
never remember this. Better have the media give that killer a catchy name or that case a,
Right?
like, memorable title.
Yeah. I feel like there
Works,
was
though.
just
You know what I mean?
too much Hello Kitty. Like Hello Kitty in the apartment, and then the weird fuck upness of the doll. Like, just why Hello Kitty? I don't know.
I Thanks, they hate it. All of
Yeah.
it. I have more questions than answers about the Hello Kitty part.
Yeah, that's the weird part. But I don't know. It's really shitty what they did to her, and I feel bad. And for her kid that was probably less than 2 at the time, and
I
everything, and her
know.
husband,
He's so
like, and then
cute.
they
Oh,
make these shitty movies about it, and ugh, so
yeah.
sad.
Gross.
Yeah, but we
Well,
yeah, we'll take a break and be back for more gross.
it's not great.
Yeah.
um, there will be more murder.
Mm.
And I'm thinking maybe we better stick to this one, call it Chinese true crime or something. Anything I can think of, I'm like, if I put a punny name on this, I'm just gonna feel like that's real cringe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this one's dark.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
guys,
one.
pop a Valium. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I was sitting in the chair, like, watching Gordo play with his toys silently in the room. So sadly. Just like, meh, meh.
Oh, I was trying to connect my headphones again. I should have just left it in, but instead I just ripped it out of my ear like, bah! I don't know. The dog moved downstairs because I went downstairs, and then he was like, "Oh, I guess I'll move from the hallway where I'm sitting outside of Mom's room."
Aw.
I know, he'll follow us downstairs if we're just going for a quick toke or something. He just always does.
Gordo does
Gotta go
that
with the
to me.
pack.
He
Yeah.
follows me everywhere. If it's not like from the 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. nap time, the like siesta, then it's my favorite time of day. It's the only time I can like watch movies without ever having to get up because he's doing something, because he's napping the entire time. Yeah, other than that, if I ever get up, he just follows me everywhere I go.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, you ready to hear about some more terrible things that have happened to people that probably didn't deserve it?
Yeah.
Our specialty. No.
I'm
True crime time.
buckled up. I'm as ready as I'm gonna
Buckles.
be.
Yes, I asked a friend of mine. Hello, Jill, if you're listening. Thank you for the recommendations.
Yeah.
I asked her if there was anything I should cover because she has been living in China for, I don't know, probably the last decade. Like, teaches Chinese and stuff, so.
Very cool.
Very cool. In fact, congratulations. She brought this with her friends. Some friends of hers, like, they own a house now that has a great big, like, pool, and it's like,
Oh my God.
It's kind of right smack down in the middle of the house almost. And it has, like, it reminds me of, like, a banister, like, for the stairs. It's got, like, a railing all around it. So it's like, you're not going to fall into the pool by accident. But if you want a pool, you have one.
That's cool.
Just right there. I know. I'm like, good for you guys. You your pool house.
Yeah.
Non-traditional looking pool. Anyway. But yes, she had some suggestions for me when I said, like, is there anything kind of, I don't know, local or like that you've heard of recently for our upcoming true crime China-based episode. So, she suggested this case, and they're two shortish cases.
Oh, okay.
I'm two case Kelsey this week. The first one, I believe it's pronounced, what is it? Xiao Huamei is the last name. So this is the woman we're going to talk about. Huamei, maybe? It's like the way it's written. The last name, her last name is like my phone name, but instead of the W,
gonna say.
you have an M. Yeah, Huamei. Probably.
Okay.
Okay. So, sometime in January 2022, a video went viral that showed a Chinese woman chained up outside of her home by a chain around her neck.
Oh my God, that's so recent. Okay. Jeez.
It is. It is. I was like, whoa, okay. This should not be happening anywhere anymore. Yeah, exactly.
No.
And yeah, good thing, like, that things go viral. I'll just tell you a little bit about it, but then, like, there's definitely lots of videos that are very easy to find. So, although I'm not as together as Kelsey. I don't have time to upload photos. No. Oh my God. Such a baby. I'm so dramatic. But there is a video that we can all watch if you're interested. So it's pretty crazy to just be like, whoa. Okay. This woman was eventually identified as Xiao Huamei, who had been trafficked from Yagu village in Yunnan province. So, right out of the gate, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was born in 1977, had married a man in 1995, but divorced him in 1997. So, not a lot of backstory like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just short little things.
Yeah. Probably really hard to find information.
Yeah.
So not long after that time, in 1997 that is, a woman named Sang, or Song maybe, like S-A-N-G. Again, I'm just sorry to everyone for everything all the time.
I didn't look up pronunciations of anything other than the apartment complex, which I found when I was looking up how to pronounce just one syllable of it. It came up the whole
Yeah.
thing, and I was like, yeah, tell me the whole thing in one shot then.
I know sometimes some things to me look pronounceable, and so I'm like, no, I don't need to Google that one. And then
Yeah.
you kind of get to it, and then you second guess yourself. So,
Yeah.
Song. Yeah. Not long after that, a woman named Song offered to arrange travel for Xiao to Jiangsu province to, quote, help her seek medical treatment and find her a new husband.
Okay.
That nice.
Yeah.
Instead, Song tricked her into going with a man that Yang sold her to. Yang? Oh. Yang sold her to. There's a lot of names. I apologize. I might have a typo there. This was in Donghai County, and she was sold for 5,000 yuan, or approximately $790 in 1998.
That's heartbreaking.
I mean, it's not even that much money either.
No, human trafficking is such, like, shit. It's so saddening.
Right? Yeah. Yep, up there with the murder and stuff. It's just like people need to be free. Yeah, so this is sad too, because she was eventually able to escape this person and was then found living on the street, then sold by the couple who found her to a construction foreman.
Oh my god.
Yay. Yep. So the construction man then sold her to a man in Fang County who sold her to a Mr. Dong.
Oh my god.
It's a whole string of, yeah. And Dong took out a marriage license and forged a fake birth date on it for Xiao. And so married her.
As a cover story, probably.
Yeah. Just a really fucked up way to get a wife.
Yeah, I'm like, you probably just can't go around telling people, I bought this person.
Yeah.
So.
He's like, I'll just, coerce her and we'll get this document and
Jeez.
there's okay. So they lived in Huangku village in Shuzhou City, Jiangsu province. Whew. Nailed it.
Doing good.
Okay.
Yeah. Round of applause.
I have a tough time with the ones that start with X.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't until she was recorded on video by a visiting vlogger and it went viral that authorities took the investigation seriously. Because apparently prior to this, they had been called out once before to check on the woman's welfare, and they were told by neighbors and family that she was chained up due to her violent outbursts. And
that's a
beat the
excuse to
kids.
chain somebody up.
Right? That's not allowed? Question mark? No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Jeez.
It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. So, the second time authorities went there on February 17th, 2022, They realized that she was not there of her own will, not of her own volition, and
I would
probably
hope
had been
not.
trafficked. They finally came to that conclusion, yes.
No, I'm willingly chained in the middle of my yard for
Just a,
funsies.
just a kink, yeah. Oh, like what? That's as bad as the cops being like, "Oh, I guess those guys are gay lovers," even though he's running in the street
Yeah.
handcuffed and like bleeding and.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dumb for you. Okay, so the first lady who sold Huamei. Why do I want to put an accent on everything? Huamei. Good lord, I need some sleep. Okay. So back to the first lady who sold Huamei, the song. She was arrested along with her husband, who both of whom rather had been previously charged with trafficking. Big surprise.
Yeah, repeat offenders. I mean,
Yeah. Police, quote, police have also detained the human traffickers who sold her in Fang County, end quote, along with Mr. Dong.
that's good.
Laugh at your funny name, Mr. Dong.
At least they like went after everybody, it seems.
Yeah. That is a good thing. Too often, I'm sure it doesn't happen. Xiao was taken to the hospital and diagnosed with schizophrenia. So that was probably unfortunate and help like stopping her from helping herself and getting the help she needed too.
Yeah. It's a contributing factor.
Oh yeah. The investigation has pretty much concluded now, I believe. Other than like they're following the chain of trafficking further to see where it leads, and these other actions that have been taken, like 17 officials have been punished from Fang County for, quote, dereliction of duty. Good.
Yeah.
Yay, punish them, punish them. Okay, no. These include, quote, the county level party, secretary, deputy secretary, head of county's publicity bureau, and a senior member of the local state-run women's federation.
Oh.
For good measure. So yeah, they really did throw the book at a bunch of people. Is that the right expression? I don't know.
I think so.
And oh yeah, another quote here. Chinese authorities reportedly fired 8 lower-level Communist Party officials, while 3 were deprived of freedom of movement due to an internal party investigation that highlighted their failure to protect public rights and for issuing false information, according to ABC News.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and 6 other officials have also reportedly received internal punishments. So that's good, and I get into the meat of it now. Investigators said the Dong family patriarch, so this was the guy that married her, quote unquote, so now dead, bought Xiao Huamei, and she was married to one of his sons in 1998. Oh, sorry, that's the... She was sold to the dad, married to one of the sons in 1998. The son, while registering their marriage in 2000, used Yang as her surname, which is used in previous probes and media reports. Yeah, I remember seeing her called Yang a few times, and at first I was confused until I found this quote. So.
Oh, okay.
If anyone else ever has the same problem. But yeah, this explains some more about her captivity. I'm gonna call it captivity. It's not a marriage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a conventional one. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
not one she was consenting to in any way.
No, I'm like, no, that's, yeah, this is fucked up. It's really fucked up, man. So Xiao Huamei gave birth to the couple's first child in 1999 and their eighth child in 2020.
Oh my.
7 of their 8 children are boys.
Oh, so she was with them for a really long time. And like wasn't paying attention to the dates. Oh my god.
Right?
Ugh.
Well, I mean, I swear I blinked and it was 2000 yesterday and now it's
Yeah.
2022.
So she was with them for like over 20 years.
Yep, and had 8 children.
Oh my
And the end,
god.
sorry, to end that super long quote, local police have confirmed her husband to be their biological father through a paternity test. So, yep, he knocked her up a bunch.
Gross.
Pardon
What
me.
the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, this this one is one dude. Yours was 2 dudes and a probably unwilling sort of teen child.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why can't people just like go out and meet people regular way? Why you gotta be out there like kidnapping and freaking buying people?
Oh my god,
So gross.
right?
Ugh.
So the video, the viral video, that if you want to look up, is literally like woman in chains, her name, XIAO, and then
Oh.
Wame. Wise. So for the listeners, I'll say like how the video shows Xiao chained by the neck in front of a concrete wall, apparently struggling to communicate.
Hmm.
And it first went up on a platform called, oh boy, Kuai Shu, where people saw it and arrived to the home, like where she's pictured in the video, to donate clothing to the children and try to help.
Aw.
So, yay. But this is before, I guess, maybe the authorities had been there, so. At one point in the video, the husband is heard saying he wanted lots of kids because people, quote, looked down on him for marrying at 33. Age 33. What? Why?
I don't know. Maybe he thought that was late in his life.
I don't understand. But I don't. Why? And, like, I remember thinking and having to look up about the one child policy because for a while they were really not allowed to have more than one kid there.
Yeah, they got rid of that now, didn't they?
Yeah. Sorry. Hang on. Frog in my throat. The one child policy was repealed, like kind of beginning in 2016, and then it said as recently as May 2021, the restrictions relaxed enough, allowing you to have up to 3 children. So he was almost there. He just times it by 2 and added a couple. Authorities said after removing Wame from the premises that she was receiving medical treatment and they were providing the family with financial help to ensure they, quote, have a warm spring festival. So, I guess that's good because that's just the children now that they would be referring to, really.
Yeah. I mean, take the children away from Creepazoid, like fucking family, and
he was arrested. That's right. He had already been arrested, so.
good.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if she has schizophrenia, if she can be treated, but how's she gonna look after like 8 kids? Oh, it's horrible. So sad.
Yes. Well, that's one of the next bullet points. Oh yeah, no, that's just about who was arrested again, which I already kind of mentioned. So, yeah, her and her eldest son were both treated for mental health issues and a little bit of gum disease. So, other than that, I think they were in pretty good health. That's good.
Yeah, okay.
And provincial authorities have asked government officials to find caregivers for Wame and the children. So, hopefully it's being dealt with.
Yeah, it's so recent too. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't. scary to do cases that are recent. Like, say if you got like, especially murder victims that could have families that are out there, and you're like, don't want to talk about their story, but yeah, that's pretty crazy, and it's out there, and yeah, you can watch the video, and
Yeah, I looked up. I saw the screen, or I guess like probably stills from the video of her in the chains.
yeah,
It looks so sad.
yeah, a screen
Jeez.
grab just of her like looking like she's just outside chained up like a dog.
Yeah.
Like a dog you don't even like, basically. I don't even do that to my dog.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I said for 20 years.
Yeah.
Frick. Nobody did anything.
Yeah, she was passed around for the first few years. Ugh,
Yeah.
terrible. And then I was learning, I was like, well, what other not so fun facts do we know? Like, is this, I know it's all worldwide. So the top, China's pretty high up there. It said on human trafficking, India's at the top of the list with 14 million victims. China comes in second with 3.2 million victims, and Pakistan comes in at third with 2.1 million victims.
Yeah.
And
India's just got like the biggest population. Is it like in the
Yeah.
world? It's like the most populated place in the world.
yeah, they're pretty packed.
Yeah.
We, on the other hand, are like, we're the second biggest country by landmass, and we're like, I think I just learned that we're like the 37th by population. On that.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, on that Canada cities episode I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that case. Yay! And I have another fun short bummer for you.
Well, at least she was found and nobody died. And it sounds like her and the kids, I mean, if they were only suffering from like mental health issues and gum disease, at least, I mean, doesn't sound maybe like it was too bad.
They could have a hope for it to have a pretty positive future. They're just gonna have a really fucked up backstory to talk about
Yeah.
to their future spouses. Man, that's fucked up. They're gonna probably have some PTSD actually, which is not so funny. I live with someone who has PTSD. I know it's not a fucking ballpark.
No.
So hopefully we don't give you guys any, but
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few episodes of Crimes and Consequences that I feel like I listened to them and was like, well, I'm not going to bed immediately after that. Let's have a palate cleanser of anything else. Like,
exactly. Just listen to something funny.
yeah, anything for like 5 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm good.
Oh, I have a pretty good funny one recommendation. It's called Fuck My Work Life. People, it's like usually some sort of theme, or like the first one I listened to was people that worked at Amazon and them telling stories about
Oh god.
like shitty stuff, and but like mostly it's the two hosts, and then sometimes they'll have a guest or whatever, but it's all about shitty things that happen to you at work, or
That's
it's
funny.
it's just fun for a good laugh. Actually, you don't want to. It's not educational. You know what I mean? Like it's just for fun.
Sometimes I want to watch stuff that's not educational. Like, sometimes I
Yeah.
want to watch something that's not trying to teach me anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now I'm gonna teach you about this crime.
Yeah.
So, yay. So, they have this company in China called Didi, and it owns the largest ride-hailing service. So, they're like the Uber parent company.
Okay.
So, they apparently tried to enforce a curfew for their female passengers to not ride past 8 p.m.
What? Okay.
Because, as one article put it, after the bad publicity of, quote, several sexual assaults and the murders of 2 women last year, they thought, maybe we better do something.
Yeah, so impose a curfew on the women and Jesus. Ugh.
I mean,
Just like COVID, when they're like, we're gonna put in a curfew, and you're like, what? Because COVID only comes out at night?
yeah, yeah.
Very
Let's
smart
do some
planning.
stuff. We're gonna do some stuff to make the population angry.
Yeah, COVID only happens after 8 p.m., don't you
Oh
know?
my god, yeah. So, Dee Dee said they plan to relaunch after a pause their low cost service called Hitch, with a cutoff time for female passengers, and then a huge backlash followed.
Yeah, because that makes it more dangerous. Now, how are like women that need to get rides after that time gonna get rides safely? You now cut out their number one source of getting rides.
Yeah. I don't know if this could ever be called totally safe. It seems a little sketch to me, this service in general, but I don't even usually go in Uber.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm a little weird.
I don't go with Uber at all either. I feel like I know you can rate the drivers and see pictures of them and stuff, but I feel like it's a little bit easier to deal with cabs.
Yeah.
So,
Unless you're at the freaking haunted mansion and only Uber comes around for like 45 minutes. You're like, fuck off, where are all the cabs?
yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So they said that our records show that sex related complaints, predominantly from women users, are 45% higher for rides taken between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m., and 465% higher for rides between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m.
400% higher.
Yeah, that was Dee Dee saying that in their statement.
Yeah, so how do they combat that? Instead of like doing anything about their drivers harassing the female fucking passengers,
Right?
they're like, let's punish the female passengers.
Yeah, and like,
Oh my
they said they were trying to look out for the passengers, but listen to this. This is what Hitch does. Hitch pairs drivers and passengers heading in the same direction. The passenger does not pay for the ride, but it is encouraged to tip to cover the cost of petrol or fuel.
God. Okay.
So I don't
That's
even know that they're even drivers. Well, they do have to like put information in system and go through a few checks that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but still allowed some of these crimes to happen.
People are just like, hey, I'm driving to work. Is there anybody in my area that like I could also drive to near my work and maybe they'll pay me?
Yeah, I guess I would just pair you up with someone you could maybe see who is available. Like you can track your, skip the dishes or Uber Eats guy or
Yeah.
whatever.
It sounds almost like they're trying to pair like people to carpool together. But it seems
Yeah.
weird that like you aren't paying them. They're literally
Yeah, you
just
don't
somebody
have
that's
to.
gonna you're not hiring them to take you somewhere. You're joining them and them already going somewhere else.
It's friggin' hitchhiking with the option to tip.
Yeah.
They literally call it
It's
hitch.
yeah, that seems kind of weird and more sketchy.
I don't love it, but I also don't think, that this, like, nobody should have died. So listen.
Yeah.
Quote, in May 2018, a 21-year-old flight attendant was murdered by her driver in the city of Zhengzhou. I don't know, I'm literally guessing with that one, sorry.
Hmm.
He killed himself before he could be caught.
Mm.
And after that one, Hitch suspended service for 6 weeks, deleting photos from women's profiles and making facial recognition mandatory for all drivers. So
Okay.
they can see who's driving their car. I don't know. They can identify them maybe if something bad happens.
Yeah, I don't understand. You can track like what percentage of complaints you get and narrow it down, and obviously you've compiled research to find out what time periods it happens, but then you like, I don't know, can't pull who the driver is and be like, you're fired. You can't use our app because there's complaints against you,
Yeah, that would be your first clue. Ones that have
right?
complaints from women.
Yeah, be like, yeah, we got like 450% increase between this period. Okay, then who are the drivers causing those 450% increase? Get rid
Yeah.
of them.
They're clearly not vetting anybody. It's because it's just like this app
Yeah.
they're using.
Crazy.
Um, Several months later, however, even with these stringent measures in place, a 20-year-old woman, last name Xiao? Oh no, it's the damn Zeds again. Texted a friend from the vehicle she had hailed with the rideshare service, and the text just said help.
Aww.
I know. Her driver was arrested just days later and admitted to raping, then stabbing her.
What the
In August
fuck?
2019, he was sentenced to death.
Good. Fuck him.
Yeah, they got him. Didn't take the coward's way out. Fuck. And in total, since 2016, there have been 4 murders of women in connection to the Hitch's rideshare service. The first one was a teacher who was killed in Shenzhen, Guangdong province by a 24-year-old male named Pan, who took her to a remote location, threatened her with a knife, then stole her stuff and killed her.
Oh my god. Why? If you're gonna steal her stuff, just steal her stuff and then fuck off.
Yes,
Like, oh my
exactly.
god. Ugh.
And there was a woman strangled in May 2017, then the 2 in 2018 that were killed, the first 2 I mentioned.
Mm.
So, but surprisingly, by 2018, hashtag boycott Didi was a movement on social media. And apparently, this is when they were still huge. They had just beat out Uber and were worth 87 billion at this time. Like, so they
Wow.
were better than Uber.
Well, it got if you don't have Uber operating in China, then
Mm, probably not. I don't
yeah,
know.
because Uber, like until a few years ago, wasn't even operating in Canada.
This is true. So the man who got the death penalty had been using his father's account on Hitch.
Mm.
Um, but even he had had no criminal record and had submitted, sorry, and had submitted to the screening process for drivers, including like his driver's license and vehicle identification and facial recognition. So I don't know why you would ever commit a crime. They're gonna always have all your shit. So I
Yeah,
mean,
seems
it's
pretty
also
stupid.
yeah, it's also like just dumb criminals too that are using this as their vehicles to be murderers.
Yeah, in their own vehicles. Like,
Yeah. But this guy, to your point earlier, he had complaints from previous passengers. So it's like, well,
yeah,
God.
that's the thing. 99% of the time, when like something happens, there's an entire trail of complaints against somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. A pattern is something that should be looked at and
Yeah.
talking's had, or like, yeah, firing if that's appropriate. Like, because, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely alludes to a type of behavior.
Yeah.
But he had tried to disguise it by he had physically altered the appearance of his number plate. So his license plate, I guess he had tried to change before picking her up. So he's trying to evade that way. I don't know.
Oh,
And
okay.
still, it's like it did take quite a bit of time. It said 14 hours passed from her text to her friend to his capture. So I don't know. Was that good, bad? It's
That
hard
seems
to say.
pretty quick, I'd
I
say.
mean, yeah. It's not, I guess they don't like have trackers on their
Yeah.
vehicles. As we just said, they're like using their probably their own cars and shit. So yeah. Um, and other than that, sorry, Dee Dee's other rideshare services remain active, and as far as I can tell at this point, so will Hitch be relaunched again? Or at least at the end of 2021, they were planning to, but this was after being shut down to a cybersecurity breach or something, because there was a cybersecurity investigation being done. I was like, I don't have time to get into this. I
Wow.
thought I was reading that they were relaunching again after this scandal, but then it turned out to be some other scandal.
They get hit with a phishing scam.
I'm like, I'm out of this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Climbing out.
Jeez.
Peace.
It's just like it just reminded me of the not even the scandal, but I was just thinking about like cybersecurity and then I was like, oh, phishing emails. And
Oh.
mini tangent. I was listening to the radio with my mom the other day when we were in the car, and they said that there's about 14 billion phishing emails that get sent around the world every day. 14 billion. And
Jesus.
they said, like, what percentage, I can't remember the percentage of them that actually get, like, a reply back. But out of 14
Oh.
billion sent every day, they get under 2,000 responses. And those
Wow.
2,000 responses, I can't remember the dollar value. They said that like it manages a day, but it's in like the millions out of like the 2,000 responses a day around the world.
But damn
But
it,
for
if they
the
don't
effort
get
of
better at
14
making the phishing
billion. Oh,
emails,
yeah.
because they make us pass the tests at work, and I know I would sometimes like screw up, and they'd be like, "You fell for it." You're like, "Ah."
Yeah. I remember Roger got one at work, and it was he had
Yeah.
ordered something from Amazon like just a few days before, and it was like a fake Amazon thing, and it sent him and was like, click here, like there's an issue with your package
Oh
and click this
no.
link, and he clicked it, and then like his account got hacked or something. And then my sister-in-law, her Instagram got taken over by somebody who tried to extort money out of her, uh
What?
because she got sent a like private like direct message on Instagram from one of her friends, and she thought it was from her friend, but her friend had been hacked, and this person sent her a message saying, "Hey, my account's unlocked, or my account's locked and I can't get into it. I need you to verify like my identity. Click this link." Or
Oh
whatever,
no.
and she clicked the
It's
link
always a
because she didn't
link, right?
think. Yeah, she didn't think
Yeah.
anything about it, and she clicked the link, and then they hacked her account too, and then she was like messaging them because she has two Instagram accounts, so she was messaging them from the other one and stuff because she has like I don't know how many years worth of pictures and memories and stuff on there that she doesn't have anywhere else, and all this stuff with
Oh, for
like
sure.
my niece Rooney and everything. And they basically sent her a message and was like, what is your like what are these memories worth to you, and like asked her for thousands of dollars, and she's like, I'm not paying that. So the person was like, okay. And then like a couple, I think like the next day or something, they messaged her again and was like, okay, what are your memories like worth to you, what will you pay? And she just basically messaged back and was like, nothing, like. And then so the person just blocked her, and then kept the
Wow.
account, and then started posting weird Jesus stuff that made
Oh,
no sense from her account. And then I think her account basically just got deleted because enough of us had like reported the account as somebody pretending to be her. So Instagram, I think, shut it down at that point. But
yeah, that's
yeah.
good. That typically does work if enough
Yeah.
people report them. Damn, that's
Yeah.
evil. That's
Yeah, it
pretty,
was
like,
sucky.
yeah.
Like, And we told her not to send them any money because we're like, they're not going to actually give you the account back. They're just going to keep asking for more money. But
yeah,
it was brutal. It's like one thing for somebody to like guess your password and stuff like that, but it's another thing when you just accidentally click a link because you're not thinking about it.
oh yeah, they can make it look really good too. I think one of the ones they got me at when they test us at work was some sort of a Starbucks type, you know, this is from your Starbucks account or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it is. And then, yeah, exactly. Without literally giving it 2 seconds of thought.
Yeah.
And then, like, afterwards, like, oh, why would they email me my work email? Have I ever used that? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I try in anything that gets sent to me. If it says, like, this is a message from something, I try just going through the app or the website, like, online.
Yes. That's good practice. They say to do that. Mm-hmm.
I don't ever like click links to log in anything unless I am the one that like basically asked for that link to be sent, as like click here to reset your password, and then it sends you like the link to reset your password like 2 minutes later.
Or you're expecting it for some other reason. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
never
horrible.
Never trust a link and never trust a fart. Those are our words of wisdom for the day.
Don't trust a link and don't trust a fart. Cool.
I think Jared Padalecki says that on one of the Supernatural bloopers. Never trust a fart after 40. He's trying to make like Jared Jensen laugh. Makes me laugh.
Terrible.
Well, next time we will be seeing you literally in June to talk about urban legends.
Yeah. Well, finally. Urban.
Yeah.
I think we're doing Canadian ones specifically.
Yeah. So
represent.
It will be Canuck as fuck.
Yeah. And if you want to catch up by the time this episode airs, we'll almost or hopefully already have our May Patreon posted for the conspiracy little series and some government cover-ups. Yeah. And
so yep, if you're hankering for more, you know where to go.
Yeah, we got lots of episodes up there, so you can join at any level and access all of them.
Yep. You get all the bonus episodes at all levels and all the bonus episodes, including all the video bonus episodes from the middle level and up.
Cool. And if you join at the highest tier, you can pick an episode topic or like case you want us to cover.
Yeah, we should have one of those coming down the chute here fairly shortly.
Yeah. We're waiting for a reply. But, and you also get shout outs. Don't you want a shout out? I'd want a shout out.
I got a surprise shout out the other day because I forgot I had upped my pledge on something. So I was pleasantly surprised when they were like, oh yeah, we haven't mentioned some Patreons in a while. And then it was like, and thank you, Alanna Peters, for, upping your... And I was like, oh yeah.
Thanks for
Love
reminding
a surprise shout out. Yeah.
That's fun.
Anyway, well, catch you next week. Thanks for listening.
Yes, bye.
Keep it cryptic. All right.
This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.